Namaste people, I am Anmol Sarkar. So if you guys have seen my introduction video, you guys must have an idea about who I am and what I am trying to do and what this channel is all about. And if you have not seen that video for Facebook, I'll share the link in the comment section, and for YouTube in the description below. So without wasting any further time, please like and subscribe my channel and press to the notification button so that I can come up with more such videos for you guys. Okay, so without wasting any further time, let's get straight down to today's topic. In last video, if you guys have noticed that I was talking about how these theosophical societies were created and how this Lemurian identity, the continent of Lemuria, has come up. Okay, so that is what I was trying to propagate through this video. So how this Lemurian artifact means origin came up, and through facts and writings of some few Indologists, I have stated that how these things have come into existence, which is a myth, Lemurian myth, and this theosophical societies. In today's video, we will see how this theosophy propagated further by using Buddhism as Buddhism uses Aryans to counter evangelism. Okay, so now we will see the similar things happening in Sri Lanka, which happened in India as well, where these British colonial administrators and evangelists tried to classify or as natives as Aryans and Dravidians, and decouple Tamil traditions from Sanskrit tradition, the mainland Indian traditions and Sanskrit languages. Similarly, in Sri Lanka as well, Buddhists were termed as Aryans, and the Tamils and Shaivites were termed as Dravidians, and these Tamil traditions were decoupled from these Buddhist traditions and said that Tamil language does not have any link with Buddhist language. So the similar kind of same not similar, actually same strategy, only the names have changed here. So in parallel with the creation of Dravidian separatist identity in South India, another similar mischief was going on in Sri Lanka. Okay, same mischief, as I have said. A new identity was in process of being created by Buddhism, by fusing Buddhism as a religion and Sinhalese as a language. Similarly in India, Aryans, Hindus as a religion and Sanskrit as a language. Same thing happened in Sri Lanka as well. In 1856, Robert Caldwell, in his comparative grammar, argued that there was no direct affinity between the Sinhalese and the Tamil languages. As similarly, same happened in India. There is no link between Arya, Dravid, Tamil and Sanskrit. This was also a myth. In 1866, scholar James D. Alves seized upon this idea of Sinhalese ideology, which belonged to the Aryan of the northern family, as contradistinguished from Dravidian, and as I have said all these things. Elvis, who was considered as the first Sinhala language nationalist of British Sri Lanka, rejected the thesis that Sri Lanka language was a Sanskrit derivative. Rather, both came from common ancient race. He also rejected the kinship of Sinhalese with the mainland Indian population. The British also imposed racial categories, and you know how this racial profiling works, and languages were separated and all these kind of things happened. Okay, now there was a Buddhist monk known as Dharmapala, was a Sri Lankan Buddhist monk who was highly influenced by this theosophy and became instrumental in popularizing the Sinhalese Buddhist Aryan identity among the Sri Lankan public. In 1866, when theosophists C.W. Leadbenter and Henry Steele Olcott visited Sri Lanka, Dharmapala accompanied them, and they started various seminars and speeches all over Sri Lanka to propagate this theory. So there was a report at that time which said that, quote unquote, at such time, while Europeans are in Sri Lanka stating Christianity is the whole truth and Buddhism is completely untrue, as it happened with India, the Buddhist people gathered to hear Buddhism means there, what we say, as in India there are kathas and what we say, various japas and kathas are there. And similarly in Buddhism, gathering was known as Bultgens, Bultgens, Bultgens. Okay, surprised that such educated people would embrace Buddhism. Okay, so this was the construction of Aryan Sinhalese or myth and division of decoupling of Tamils from this Buddhist ideology as well. Now what this led to is clash of this kind of racial profiling and projecting one as superior and another as inferior, and giving it a different context led to colonial clash in colonial constructs, that is Buddhist Aryan Buddhist Sinhalese versus Dravidian Saivite Tamilians. Okay, in this fight of Christian missionaries, one of the Indologists name says that Sri Lankan monks and educated laypersons found the Western interpretation of Buddhism especially appealing in their fight against the Protestant and Catholic missions. Soon this indigenous scholarship, strongly influenced by the Western critical methods, carried on into the present day rational view of Buddhism, treating the mythic, cultic, devotional elements as the inessential to religions, as accretions or interpolations superadded to a pristine pure form of Buddhism. Okay, so Buddhism, these folks believed that the ordinary peasants were viewed as animism and superstitions of the rational theosophy of old religion. Okay, so this newly constructed pure Buddhism was designed by the Westerners to create conflicts between the Buddhists and the Tamilians. So this led to the civil war in Sri Lanka, and where clash of races happened in 2009. I will give you some statistics here. A 30-year civil war that happened in Sri Lanka nearly killed 80,000 people, displaced more than 900,000 people, and boasted global weapons trade. Okay. In 2008, Sri Lanka was one of the 20 nation states led by Carnegie Endowment in international peace. If you have seen my introduction video, you guys must have known who are the Rothschild Foundation, Rockefeller and Carnegie Foundation, all this kind of things. The ethnic conflict peaked in the summer in 2009 when 20,000 civilians were killed, even though violence has ended after the death of some Tamil separatist leader. You know who I am talking about, the LTT leader. Okay. The deep wounds of suspicion that became ingrained by manipulated histories, identities and linguistics are yet another horrible legacy of Indology. Okay, so this was all done to boost weapons trade in the Indian subcontinent. Now we have saved ourselves because of some proactive leaders from this civil war situation, because there we had some great visionary and proactive leaders such as Sardar Patel, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar and P.V. Narasimha Rao as well, who were very successful in containing this kind of things. In today's era, we don't have any such leaders. Okay, for except one or two leaders we have. After this, I don't think we will be able to survive that long, because this colonial constructs will take a full craze and we will end up in a civil war situation, which will either be, I am predicting it by 2040 if we don't take necessary actions now. The next generation which will be brought up is they will be fed this kind of racial narratives and history, and when we have a large youth population who are, what we say, misguided, they will start civil war and clashes between two religions or races will happen. In southern with south versus north, Hindu versus Muslims will start happening. So if we don't do anything now, I don't think that we will be able to do anything later. The situation is very serious. We must wake up, and to be precise, we must start educating our kids at home only. From home we must start giving these basic educations, because I don't find these schools very promising, or what we say, very what promising in bringing up your child in the way they should be brought up to. You must definitely send your children to schools. I am not telling that don't send them, please educate them, but the main education starts from home. Please culturally and socially educate them, so that when they grow up they reject all this kind of distorted history. For that, the first step we must take is, we must try to change ourselves as an individual. We must try to figure what is right and what is wrong, and act accordingly wherever we go, because our children learn from our actions more than they learn from our words. If you tell your child to go and do this, go and do that, they will not listen. But if you act in a certain way, they will also follow that and act in a certain way as well. So please start educating your children and at home, and before that please try to change yourself, because it is the responsibility of this generation only to bring the change which we need to see in this country. Okay, so this was it for today, guys. Enjoy this video and have a nice day.